Sports Illustrated's latest article has Chicago Cubs fans asking, are the Chicago Cubs in running for a front of the lineup arm, or do they already have it in their rookie sensation? We'll talk about it. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in and for watching this episode. Listen, if you're enjoying our off-season content, we have so much more planned for you. Me and Big Kev have been in the lab cooking up what we're going to do next together. We're going to do some White Sox and Cubs stuff together, and then we're also still going to do our daily episodes that are going to drop. Obviously talking about the hype of what the Chicago Cubs are going to do with their future. If you haven't already, go back and watch the Dansby Swanson episode where we talk about his contract and also grade his season from 2025. We're going to be grading player seasons here really soon on the channel, so you definitely want to miss those. They'll be coming in sporadically as we also talk about the potential of who the Chicago Cubs will sign during the offseason in the winter meetings and who is interested in being a Cub in 2026. You don't want to miss any of it. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you're watching on Spotify, if you're watching on Apple, make sure that you guys leave a 5-star review. And also, if you're watching on X, if you are watching on Twitch, make sure that you guys also leave comments and leave your thoughts and let me know what you're thinking about. Shout out to everybody that's been watching on X. I saw some comments come through on X on the episode a couple of episodes ago that we did where we talked about Kyle Schwarber. Obviously, like I said, I want to salute you guys. Thanks so much, everybody that's tuning in on X. Appreciate you guys so much. So I have another one for you today. Today, we're going to talk about one Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber is actually right now in the World Series playing in the regular season for Shane Bieber. Like I said, he's coming off Tommy John surgery. He did have limited availability. So it could be a risk for him. He appeared in just 7 games. He had a 4-2 record, a 3.57 ERA, and 40 1/3 innings pitched, 37 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.02. Shane Bieber is one of those pieces that you look at and you say to yourself, man, you know, could the Chicago Cubs potentially do to him or do for him what they did for Matthew Boyd in 2025? I mean, Matthew Boyd was coming off of Tommy John surgery the year before. Only got a chance to come in at the tail end of the season for the Cleveland Guardians. Showed up, pitched well in the playoffs for them, and then out of default the next year in 2025 became the ace for the Chicago Cubs. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but that's literally how it happened, and it's a miracle that it did. But it's also, you know, kudos to Tommy Hotovy, kudos to Craig Counsell, kudos to the pitching staff that got him ready, and kudos to Matthew Boyd for taking this game to the next level when the Chicago Cubs needed it. Really think the Chicago Cubs would have been a lot farther had they had Cade Horton and Justin Steele along with Matthew Boyd, because that's a 1-2-3 combo you don't want to have to face. Now, with that being said, we look back at Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber was in limited competition for the Toronto Blue Jays, who are currently in the World Series, and he is one of their pieces coming into this World Series. Somebody that you will probably see pitch in the World Series if he makes the rotation. Now, with that being said, you have to look at how he fits with the Cubs, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, and I will continue to talk about it. The Chicago Cubs rotation needs pitching help. They need a stud frontline starter. Not to say that Matthew Boyd isn't that, but I just don't know how long you can expect him to be that. You know, again, the 2025 wasn't a great season for him, but towards the end, his arm started getting tired. His velocity started dropping a little bit, and he had a couple clunkers. He had some bad games. I mean, he was due because he pretty much performed all season long like an ace. So you look at that and you say to yourself, well, I mean, you know, you kind of want to make sure that you have something to back that up, and you need as many good pitching arms as possible, because by the time you get to the postseason, you can't have enough pitching. You just can't have enough pitching. Bieber also brings a former American League Cy Young, a winner pedigree to the team. He also he boosts the rotation immediately if he's healthy and helps with the playoff push for this team. Another thing, it also allows you, once again, I'm looking at front end starters because I'm not expecting Justin Steele to be ready to go by the time the season starts. I know everybody's seen the hype videos, Marquee Sports Network and Justin Steele himself have been sharing. I know he went on Locked On Cubs and did an episode with Sam over there, and I know he was hyping up the fact that he is going to be ready for the season, but I do not expect them to be ready and to go as the season gets started. So with that being said, it would behoove the Chicago Cubs to have pieces in place ready to go if Justin Steele isn't ready. And again, you can't get much better than what Shane Bieber has done. His pedigree and the way that he has looked is amazing. So with that being said, like I said, he is one of those pieces that you look at and you say you can add to the front end, and he's going to come in and give you an elite arm. Now the cons on this situation with him is there's a recovery risk there. Now the Chicago Cubs, knock on wood, got really lucky with the fact that Matthew Boyd performed so well in 2025. That's a testament to the surgeons, to the doctors, to the rehab team, and then to the Chicago Cubs, who were vigilant and watched Matthew Boyd. I mean, he did skip out on his All-Star appearance, did not pitch in the All-Star game because he wanted to save his arm for the second half. But kudos to everybody involved in the decision-making process to try to keep him as healthy as possible heading into the postseason. Because again, this is what it's all about. You have to make sure that you're ready for the long haul. Shane Bieber is somebody that you have to look at. And you have to say, could he be ready for the long haul? The grind of making 30 starts for your club. Could he do that for you without getting injured and needing surgery? If you're going to spend the money on him, then you have to do that. So again, the cost of what it might cost to get somebody like Shane Bieber is another spot that you also want to think about. And then like I said, he may only be a rental. So you have to give up some pieces to Toronto in order to get him. So you have to look at things like this. You have to consider it when you are planning on going after somebody like him. But I expect the Chicago Cubs to be very active when it comes to the free agent market and pitchers. Their names have been coming up with so many front end pitchers because the Chicago Cubs need front end pitching. We know this. We know they need another stud front end pitcher that can provide some innings for this team and somebody they can depend on. So, given his history, given what he has been, do you guys believe that Shane Bieber will be worth the risk to try to make a trade for? Do you think that he is somebody that you ought to look at? I need your comments below. Give me your thoughts. Comment, guys, whether you're on X, whether you're on Twitch, whether you are on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're watching this at, especially on YouTube. Give me your thoughts, guys. Is Shane Bieber somebody you would consider trading for to be your front end ace starter on this team? Is he somebody that you think you can depend on? Are you worried about his injury health? Are you worried about what it might cost to trade for him? Or do you think that the person we're going to talk about next is the guy to be your opening day starter in 2026? That being Cade Horton. I have been talking ad nauseum, and I still will continue to talk about the product, the brand that has changed my life and can change yours too. What's that product? It's Dubby. It's an all-natural energy supplement that you can take on the daily to help you get through those urges, those moments when you want to nap, then when you hit the cliff, or if you had a long night the night before and need to get through another crazy day of the hustle and bustle, the 9 to 5, whatever you got going on, Dubby is your energy drink. That's right. Not to mention, when you buy a container of Dubby, it actually equals out to almost $1 per drink. You can mix it in with whatever you want, whether that be a juice, whether that be a water, whether that be some type of other energy flavored drink, whatever you want, you can mix Dubby with it and it will do the trick for you. Guys, I don't understand what you're waiting on. W takes care of everything for you. All you have to do is go on to the W website and place your order. And at this time, when you do that, all you have to do is put in Cubs Central Pod 2024. That's right, Cubs Central Pod 2024, and you get 10% off on your W order. That's right. Hey, listen, guys, I'm telling you right now, Jitterless Energy. They have all different types of different flavors for you. W has what you need. Be better with W. The Chicago Cubs had a sensational season from rookie pitcher Cade Horton. He came and showed up and showed out in ways that we couldn't imagine. And listen, for what it's worth, I believe the Chicago Cubs would still be playing baseball right now had Cade Horton been available. I believe that the Chicago Cubs would have beat the Milwaukee Brewers and possibly could have even beat the Los Angeles Dodgers, and at least taking the game to 7 games instead of being swept like the Milwaukee Brewers were. But in all of that, the Chicago Cubs rookie pitcher, Cade Horton, is very, 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 he's already been named the NL Rookie of the Year by a different promotion, but we're hoping that he also will be named Rookie of the Year by the MLB, winning the Jackie Robinson Award. With that being said, let's look at Cade's stats. So Cade's stats in 2025, his record was 11-4. He had an ERA of 2.67. He had a WHIP of 1.08. The other person that you're looking at that could potentially win the Jackie Robinson Award would be Drake Baldwin. He's a catcher. He's a rookie. His 2025 stats, he had a 274 batting average. He had 19 home runs and 80 RBIs in his time playing for the Braves. So you have to look at this and say to yourself, Cade Horton has did so much for the Cubs and helped produce the Cubs winning. So to me, in my eyesight, when you look at who's in the running for the National League Rookie of the Year award, it makes sense to give it to Cade Horton. 11 starts, 4 of those, 11-4 in his starts this season. Obviously, towards the end of the season, when you hit into the postseason, he missed time due to injury. But still, that strong ERA, his impact as a rookie starter for the Cubs, and the way he was able to perform after the All-Star break. I feel like after the All-Star break, Cade Horton really, really found his niche with the Chicago Cubs, and he figured out how he can be an impact player for this team and stay on the main roster. Now he's somebody next year Craig Counsell will be depending on. I mean, make no mistake about it. He will be depending on Cade next year. So, like I said, Baldwin, when you look at his side of things, arguably he has more plate appearances. He has strong offensive numbers and his positional value as a catcher. You know, you don't find many catchers that are able to slug like that and get that many RBIs. So in my eyes, still, I think Cade Horton looks like he should be, to me, the National League Rookie of the Year and be holding that Jackie Robinson Award. But I want to hear from you guys. Who would you pick? Would you pick Horton or would you pick Baldwin? And tell me why. Again, when you think about it, consider the team performance, the future value, and the longevity. In my eyes, I look at Cade Horton as that dude for the Chicago Cubs moving forward. He is somebody that they're going to be depending on season in and season out. And I asked the question before the break, could Cade Horton actually be the opening day starter for the Chicago Cubs next year? I mean, it's not above the realm of possibility that Craig Counsell hand the ball to him game one and say, hey, take us there. With that being said, if that is the case, I think I would feel fine, perfectly fine with Cade Horton being opening day starter for the Chicago Cubs next year. I think that, you know, his talent and the way he performed this year has definitely given him an edge over Shota Imanaga. And again, Matthew Boyd is a lefty. You absolutely could go with him next year. And then you don't know what other additional pieces the Chicago Cubs are going to add. But in my eyesight, Cade Horton is definitely one of those guys you ought to look at. So again, just want to connect both these topics together and with my thought process behind it. So in my eyes, adding somebody like Shane Bieber would signal win now. The Chicago Cubs are going in on a win now type season. And then again, like I said, if you are going to lean on your young guys, I know Jackson Wiggins has been called up to AAA last year, and I'm sure we expect to probably see him maybe in the majors sometime pitching in 2026. If that's the case, are you more relying on the young guys? Which if you are, you're going to have to be a little bit more lenient and say like, hey, this might not be our season to win it all, but I want our guys to go out and to perform well. In my eyes, I think it needs to be more of a win now situation. Horton's Rookie of the Year potential shows that the Cubs do have internal talent. But do they also still need to spend externally? Do they need to go out and get other pitching? And in my eyes, I do believe they need to. I do believe the Chicago Cubs have more they have to add on. I know Brad Keller probably intends to sign back with the Chicago Cubs, could end up being a Chicago Cubs closer next year. I know also that, like I said, you do still have Danny Palencia, and you do have some other pieces coming back. You do have a decision to make on Andrew Ketridge and what you're going to do with his deal also. So again, there's a lot that you have to do with your bullpen, and you still do have some decisions you have to make. Again, one of those being Shota Imanaga. What are you going to do with him? So again, all is not well right now with the Chicago Cubs. They have decisions to make on the pitching side as well as the offensive side. So in the coming weeks, as news breaks and things happen, we'll be talking about it right here on Chicago Cubs Central. So I need to know from you guys as part of this episode, should the Cubs chase Bieber? Who do you think is going to get the Rookie of the Year award, Horton or Baldwin? Remember, comment below who you trade for Bieber and who you will vote for the Rookie of the Year. And like I said, next week when we come back, we'll be talking about what the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox, we're going to do a joint episode on Monday, what the Chicago Cubs and what the Chicago White Sox have to do to contend next season. And of course, we're going to be talking about the Chicago Cubs, other acquisitions they can make to be successful. But hey, that's my time for today. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and for watching. Thanks so much. Leave your opinions below. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, go Cubs, go.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.